What's up guys, and welcome back to the channel. In today's video we're going to take a look at this brand new 2021 Lexus UX250h. Huge shout out and thank you to Hendrick Lexus of Northlake for providing this hybrid for today's video. Check out the link to their website in the description below. They have a huge selection of the 2021 Lexus lineup, so definitely check them out. And the model that we're looking at today is finished off in eminent white pearl and has an MSRP at $40,000. Powering this hybrid crossover, Lexus uses a 2-liter inline 4-cylinder engine paired to the hybrid system. It cranks out 181 horsepower and is paired to a continuous variable transmission. The power is sent to all 4 wheels, and with a curb weight at 3,600 pounds and running on a 10.6 gallon fuel tank, you're looking at 41 miles per gallon in the city and 38 miles per gallon out on the highway, and this car can be driven in full EV mode. The overall length is 177 inches with a wheelbase at 103.9. The width is 72.4 with height at 60.6 inches. Taking a look at the front end of the 2021 UX250h. This has the classic Lexus grille, very bold looking. You can see how large it is, spanning all the way from the hood and to the lower portion of the bumper. It has a nice metallic gray mesh design, very aggressive looking, and a large opening to allow maximum cooling to this hybrid system. You can see a brushed aluminum trim piece in the lower portion of the bumper to really help give it a classy design, and around the Lexus logo right in the center there's even blue trim just to indicate this is a hybrid. You can see how the bodywork cuts into the grille to give it a very pointed and aggressive design, and then we have razor sharp headlights. They feature LED daytime running lights and LED headlights in them, blacked out housings, and a really cool design. There's also very sharp body lines all around the front bumper to give this that modern design, and you get 4 parking sensors up front. There's a satin black trim spoiler in the lower portion as well, and then the whole front end flows into the hood. There's a lot of sloping body lines to match very nicely with this front end, and everything flows together very well and then seamlessly blends into these front fenders with more sharp body lines. And then moving to the side profile, you can see more of that satin black going around the wheel arches with a really aggressive fender flare design. This also features a set of 18-inch wheels in all 4 corners, finished off in a 2-tone design. We have gloss gray and machined silver, and they're a really nice 5-spoke design. You can see an extremely sharp body line going from the front fender all the way through the doors and blending away into the rear, and then more sharp lines around the rear fender arch fading into another line in the lower portion of the doors. We get the hybrid logo on the back doors, and then a set of body colored door handles and body colored mirror caps with chrome trim, as well as some gloss black trim on the upper portion. There's also more chrome trim around the windows, and then more of the same color for these roof rails. There's a sunroof up top, and then if we take a look at the overall side profile, this has a very proportional design with sharp lines. I like how all the shapes are integrated to make this look very fun and sporty. And then making our way to the rear end, you can see the shark fin antenna up top, and then a roof mounted spoiler finished off in body colored and gloss black. We also get a really sharp set of LED taillights that protrude outwards and upwards to really give the rear end a modern design. You can see the LED bar connecting the entire taillights. We have the Lexus logo right in the center with more of that blue trim on the inside. The standard backup camera is underneath that with the UX250h logo over on the right. We have 4 more parking sensors in the rear bumper, and then more of this black coloring in the lower portion. And the whole rear end ties together very well, giving it that sharp design. So there's a good look at the exterior and some of the specs on this 2021 UX250 hybrid. This is a really cool looking car. I love all these sharp lines. Comment below, what do you guys think of the overall design? So we now have the key fob. It's already locked and I can keep the key fob right in my pocket. All I have to do is grab the door handle. It's gonna automatically unlock and we can check out this interior. This particular spec has a very cool looking interior with the 2-tone on the seats and dash. You can see the lighter color as well as the black trim. Taking a look at the door panel now, we have the black coloring going on the top, and then this lighter leather on the armrest with some nice padding. We have a grab handle right here, all of your window controls and lock and unlock, and then mirror controls up front. We have an aluminum colored release handle that has a really nice design, and then a little bit of storage down below. Taking a look at the sides of these seats now, we have some gloss black trim to them for all of your power controls right on this left side. Then nice bolsters, very smooth leather on the sides, perforated leather running through the entire centers. And then as we make our way up the backs of these seats, you can see more of the perforated leather and a nice black trim piece. Really cool design over on the left and right side. I love the texture to it with all the smooth leather. Really cool looking. And then now inside, keeping my foot on the brake, we can go ahead and hit the power button. You're not necessarily going to hear the engine start up every time. You can see all the electronics coming to life now. And the reason it does this, because it's a hybrid, it can operate in all the EV modes. So right now there's no engine running. If it needs a little bit extra battery power, the engine will turn on. You can see in this bottom left screen now, you can see the engine, tires, and battery. That will show you how everything is looking. We have a digital display right in the center, showing your power, eco, and in your charge. And over on the left side, we have a lot of different menus that'll come up. You can control it using the buttons right here on the steering wheel. Taking a look through this screen right now, you can see your current MPG. If I scroll over now, you can see your audio information. We have the lane keeping, forward collision right there, messages as well. And then continuing over, we have a lot of the different safety settings that are in this car. This has a whole load of different features. As you can see me scrolling through all the different systems within this car, definitely a lot of safety systems. And then over on the right side, we have your engine temperature and fuel level. And if we take a look at the actual steering wheel now, we have controls over on the left side for Bluetooth and audio, and then a few more settings over on the right side for cruise control and things like that. And then we have all of your windshield wiper controls over on the right side, then your turn signals as well, some headlight controls on the left. To the left side of the actual steering wheel, we have the interior lighting control. We have an air vent above that, a really cool design piece with some leather. And then on the left side, this dock right here is how you can turn traction control on and off by just tapping that. And then on the right side, we have your different driving modes. We have normal, sport, and eco. Taking a look at the digital display right now, if I scroll up into sport mode, you can see how it gets a little bit more performance oriented with a nice tachometer. And then if we move our way over across the dash, you can see this really cool looking design up top. It feels kind of like leather, looks more like a recycled plastic, and you can see the cool stitching design. And then we get the infotainment screen right in the center. You can control this using the buttons down here. We have like a mouse pad right here. You can easily scroll around. You have different buttons you can tap, and you can actually tap the entire pad. So if we go ahead and look at the screen now with all the different settings coming up, if I go ahead and hit the home icon, it goes to your main screen. You can configure how you would like this with different items. If I scroll down and click into here, you can see some of the engine monitoring with all the hybrid system and battery level and things like that. If I tap the menu button down here, you can see your main menu. You have your apps, your phone, and audio. Everything can come up like you would expect. And then just hitting the back button again, we can get out of that screen. If we go into your climate screen now, it comes up with how all the airflow is looking. And then continue to scroll all the way over to the left side. You can see different items. You can see your front, your seating. Clicking into here, you can adjust a few different items within here. As you just heard, the engine started up now that I've turned the air conditioning on, so pretty cool how everything is working. And then on top of that, we now have 2 more air vents and then actual physical climate controls if you don't want to use it on the screen. You can see your different temperatures on the left side. This is dual zone. And then we have your fan speed, automatic, off and on, and then your different recircs and defrosters. Below that, we have a CD player right here, and then more controls. We have heated and ventilated seats as well as a heated steering wheel, then your electronic park and brake. There's a little bit of storage right here, and you can tap this and up pops a 12-volt outlet, and the engine actually shut off now that it has enough battery juice. We have 2 cup holders behind that, all the touch pads for the radio and everything that you just saw. We have your shifter right here with leather on the shift boot, leather on the top, and then your button right here to release it. Then if we take a look underneath that, we have your EV mode as well as the brake hold, and some really cool buttons right here to control a few more radio controls. We have your volume right here that you can scroll left and right. You can turn it on and off by pressing it. You even have shortcuts for media and radio right on this piece. If you just tap it right now, it comes up on the screen with what you just tapped. And then on the left side, we have the tuning for the actual radio. Your armrest right in the center is finished off more in this lighter leather. Has a really nice design with more padding. Tapping this button, it opens up, and you have quite a lot of storage space in here, as you can see, with 2 USBs and an auxiliary cord. Pretty good amount of space. And then even when you go ahead and close this, there's a button on the other side to open it in this direction for the passenger, which is a really cool touch. Over on this right side now, we have your glove box. You can press this button. It opens up to reveal a nice amount of space in there. And then one last look at the overall interior. I think Lexus did a really good job just making it nice and clean. Very simple to use, as you can see, and a lot of nice materials. I definitely like the looks of these seats. They have a really good design to them, fitting very well. And then we have a headliner up top finished off in black. You can see the manual sunshade for the roof, and then all of your dome lights and controls up top. And then if we go ahead and take a look at the rear seat space, I can go ahead and open up this door. Door panel's finished off just like we saw up front. And then we have the same color leather in the back seats. And then climbing into the back seat now, this is a very small crossover SUV, so it's definitely not the biggest thing out there. I'm 5'11". I have the driver's seat set at my height. My knees are just barely touching the seat in front of me, but my feet are fitting nicely under it. And as far as headroom goes, my head actually has about 1 inch of space. There's a little bit of a cutout in the ceiling here to allow a little bit better room. So it's actually pretty comfortable sitting in the back of the smaller crossover. The armrest is in a pretty good place, and you have quite a lot of glass around you to not feel super confined. Then if we even take a look right in the center, I can put pull this leather strap down. We have a nice armrest with 2 cup holders, and going ahead and pulling this back up, we do have a few amenities in here as well, like grab handles and hooks on the top, dome light as well, and then we have some climate vents, and then 2 USB ports. And then to take a look at the storage space in the back, you can hold the button on the key fob. There is one on the interior, or of course the one on the back of this liftgate. You can see how much storage space we have in the back of this vehicle. It's really not too big. It is definitely a smaller crossover, and the load floor is pretty high, as you can tell, but nonetheless still very usable. I like how there's no lip right here. And then if you grab this handle and lift it up, we have a little bit more storage space in here, which is a little bit hidden, which is nice to see. And then on top of that, if I grab this up and open this, there's even more hidden storage in the lower portion. So I like the use of space for a smaller crossover. And then on the backs of these seats, you can easily grab these handles and lift them forward and then push the seat out of the way. And with the seats folded down, you can see how much more space we have in the back of this vehicle. And then even on the left and right side, we have extra hidden storage. This pops open, and then over on the left side, this entire piece will come up, and you can see some more hidden cargo space. So I like how they have definitely made this extremely usable for being a smaller vehicle. And then entering through this side now, you can see we still have space in front of these seats. They fold nice and flat and provide a really nice opening to the overall trunk space. Alright guys, so we're setting off now in the UX250 hybrid. I've only driven a few hybrids. Already, I do think they're really cool the way they work, especially with the EV mode. So right now we are driving, going about 40 miles an hour, just getting up to normal speed now. It is a nice and comfortable car to be in. It's definitely a smaller vehicle. This is a small crossover, good for commuting, things like that. If you need to put people and a few things in the back, you can of course do that. But driving now, just going at normal speed, the seats are really comfortable. I like the feeling of the leather on the steering wheel. Armrests are in a great place, and honestly this is a car you could easily daily drive and things like that, and I think it's small enough to be usable and just economical around town, of course, with the same gas mileage, and a pretty nice and comfortable car to be in. The visibility for being that low hunker design, pretty good actually. You really don't have any blind spots, huge windshield, a lot of glass on your sides. I love the extra windows up here. As we take a turn now, suspension seems to do a really good job absorbing some bumps. There's not crazy body roll or anything like that. And then even just getting the seat exactly where I want to. It is a pleasant place to be for sure. And then one thing very cool, so when I am driving on the gauge here, you can see your charge, eco, and the power. If I'm just coasting, you can see in the eco, and then getting on the gas, it gets into the power, and you can see it there. And then if I let off the gas and then hit the brakes do a really good job in this, especially with the regenerative braking. So it's charging the batteries every time you do hit the brakes, which is a great touch. Most hybrids are going to do that, of course. And then as far as using all the interior while you are driving, I think it's pretty simple, especially with all the climate controls right here, front and center on physical buttons. I think that just makes it a lot easier to use. And then as far as the screen up top, it's not touchscreen or anything. If I go ahead and touch the screen, nothing of course happens. But I do like how this mouse pad makes it a little bit more simple. You can easily hit your home button to just go there, and you can see everything working. And I like how there's haptic feedback when you do tap this pad and move it around. So if you just tap it, you can feel it moving. Clicking a button, you can of course see everything doing that. Hitting the menu button to go to where you're mainly going to be. I like how it's pretty simple. It's not the easiest thing in the world to use. It might take a little bit getting used to, but I like at least how everything comes up very easy, and you don't really need to take your eyes off the road, especially with the screen up in front like that. It's not down in the center. So it's definitely cool how everything works. So now we'll get up to some speed, test out the all-wheel drive, the CVT transmission, and of course the hybrid powertrain. So it's in electronic mode right now, getting up to speed, the engine turned on. So letting us get to some speed now. So not too bad, we're still in just a normal mode. If I go ahead and put us into sport mode, you have a tachometer, which is kind of funny, even though there's no gears in the transmission. It's kind of cool to see that. If I give it a little bit of gas now, it seems to rev the engine a little bit more, and actually seems pretty peppy. You know, we're up to 60 miles an hour, not too bad. So for being the hybrid, a very small engine and everything like that, I think the electronic assist within it makes it to where it's a pretty usable power plant. And now that we are going at a higher speed, let's go down into the normal mode. There's a little bit of wind noise in the car, but there's really no tire noise or anything like that while driving. There's no drivetrain noise at all, so not too bad. And then as we come to a stop now, we'll test out the EV mode. You have to be going really slow for that to work. So coming back into this business park, I'm gonna slow all the way down. The engine pretty much shuts off whenever you get to a really slow speed. So right now, I think the engine is off. We'll just tap the button right now. We're in EV mode right now. And as you can hear, there's no engine noise or anything. You can just hear a little bit of the electronics running right now. So it's nice that if you are just driving this around in a parking lot or something, turning on EV mode, you're in an electric car. Everything is electronic right now, and no engine is on at all. I'm still in the eco mode, right in the gauge cluster. It's not hitting the power. Once you hit power, that's when the engine is going to turn on. I think you can go like 25 or so. Yeah, about 26, I think the engine just turned on. So under 25 miles an hour, you can drive this fully electric, which is a really cool touch. I love how hybrids have that. Now that I'm back into 24 miles an hour, tapping that button again, we are back into EV mode, super nice and quiet now. And one thing I've noticed, if I come to a stop, if I go ahead and put the vehicle into reverse now, you do hear somewhat of a whirlwind noise. I don't know if you guys can hear that or not, but that alerts people around you that the car is moving. And I think when you are driving this in a slow speed around town, like right now in this business park, it should be emitting a little bit of a sound so people can hear this car, because there's no sound right now. As you can hear, it's just humming along, going 10 miles an hour. So I like the touches with a hybrid car, how you have that capability to drive it in electric mode, and then of course you have the gas engine when needed. And the gas mileage is insane with this car. And overall, pretty nice little car. You know, it's a smaller crossover, but around town, things like that, just racking up some miles, daily driving, going to the grocery store and things like that. I think this would be a pretty good option for that. So I think that is then it for the 2021 UX250 Hybrid. Huge shout out and thank you again to Hendrick Lexus of Northlake for providing this vehicle for today's video. Check out the link to their website in the description below. They have a really large selection of the 2021 Lexus lineup, so definitely check them out. And if you guys enjoyed the video, be sure to give it a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, stay tuned for plenty more content to come, and I'll see you guys next video.